We all love video games. Video games, to some of us, were one of the happiest times in our childhood, getting to sit on the couch with family or friends and just play around and watch the hours pass by as we beat each other up in the newest fighting game or see who can get the high score in Tetris. This number 5 console on my list actually is a console that I never even owned, and I've even barely played this console, but I know that it's really good because I really want to get one and play these games. It's none other than the Super Nintendo, also known as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES. In Japan, it was also known as the Super Famicom. It was released to the US on August 23rd in 1991. Now, this was a critical date for Nintendo because Sega was already in the 16-bit console with their Genesis, and their newest hit, Sonic the Hedgehog, had just released, so they needed to pull American gamers back to the Nintendo instead of playing Sonic. The Super Nintendo in its lifespan sold 42.10 million units worldwide, with 23.35 in the United States alone.
I'm joined here by fellow VSU students,
TJ,
Lindsay.
Okay, so with dealing with the Super Nintendo, do either of you have any fond memories of the Super Nintendo?
boy do I. I used to kick my friend's butt with Super Nintendo, man. I actually broke a controller once. I got into it and I was like, "Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun." And my friend was like, "Stop it, you're gonna ruin my system." I was like, "No, I'm not. This is how you're supposed to play the game, right?" And I was beating the controller. I was like, "Look at me, I'm winning." And he was just a sore loser. What about you?
I don't have any experience with the Super Nintendo.
Get off the lonely island.
I was just NES.
NES, okay. But do you have experience with an old Nintendo system? That's good. I personally actually never had the Super Nintendo, but I had a friend who had one, and whenever I would go to his place, he would show me, all the cool games he had. The only game I really remember playing was Donkey Kong Country.
What were the games you had, TJ? Do you remember?
I remember I had this kick butt game. It was Batman, because I had this thing for Batman. I still had that thing for Batman. I love Batman. Stop it. I know what you're thinking. Anyway, it was Batman, the animated series. It was so cool. There was this one part I played for like 2 days straight. I was staring at it. I had my energy drink. I was like, I'm going to do this.
What was that, Surge back then?
It's cool that you bring up that game, because I know during this time with video games, companies didn't usually make the same game for more than one system. So I remember with that, The Adventures of Batman and Robin, the Super Nintendo game played completely differently than the Sega Genesis game. I know the same thing happened with Aladdin.
I always wanted to play Aladdin. I thought it was so cool.
Genesis version is good. It's the only version I've played.
Well, I remember there was this one part on Batman. I couldn't beat it. To this day, I still can't beat it. But you were on a roller coaster, and he was like throwing bombs at you, and I was jumping, and I was so dyslexic and disorganized because I kept jumping the wrong way, and I kept falling off the roller coaster. And I was like, crap, I can't believe I did that. And then he would laugh hysterically, and I'd be so ashamed. I would hold my head down, and I'd be like really sad.
I think that was a good time for video games with difficulty, because they were hard, but not brutally hard that you would give up and, it's unfair, like they had a good, fair difficulty that if you messed up, it was your fault. Especially in games like Mega Man X,
I love Mega Man.
It was a hard game,
Mega
you
Man
always
was
wanted
awesome.
to beat that boss, the master robot that you could never beat.
Mega Man was awesome. I used to play Mega Man. Oh, and there was another one. The movie The Mask came out. It was actually the game that came out. That was great. I went and rented it. And I was like, brrr, and I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome. And I couldn't beat it though. And I got very sad because I was like, why can't I beat this? And then one day I was like, screw this. So I chugged something and I stayed at it again. I was like, brrrr. I was blowing up buildings and like crashing into things, and I won. I felt like a boss for like a grand 5 minutes, and I was like, what else can I do?
What did I play on the NES? We had Mario 1, 2, and 3. Tetris and.
Don't know the theme song to that one.
I don't think there is a theme song.
Well, there was,
I think it's just
classical
blocks.
music.
Country music.
Classical music.
I thought you said country music with the Tetris. I was like,
I'm sure there's a fan game out there with
Taylor,
country
like
music.
Taylor Swift singing along the Tetris cubes. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. Click, click.
We are never fitting together.
We are never,
It
ever,
never gives
ever.
you the block you need.
We are never, ever, ever fitting in together.
Yeah. So there was also Star Trek and
Dun,
Chip and Dale and Gilligan's Island.
What?
Gilligan's Island. That was
Back then you can make a video game out of anything.
and Home Alone.
Oh my god, I love
But
Home
it was a
Alone.
lot of fun.
Home Alone is so awesome.
There were a lot of glitches in that game, though. It's very
Are we surprised? I remember there was one. It was really scary, actually. To this day, it kind of creeps me out. I rented it, and then it creeped me out so bad, I got attracted to it. So I bought it from the video store. And it was like you were a knight, and you had to go fight all these monsters. Really poor quality, but at that time it was the shiz. It's like the Wii now, and you're just like... And I don't know why, it's just like this fascination where I thought swinging my arms heavy like this is gonna make me win. And all it did was just piss off a lot of people. Because they're like, will you stop? You're almost hitting me in the head. And I'm just like, get out of my arm's way. Because it never helped, because I would always end up dying. And I'm like, crap. And now I blame them, because I don't lose. They made me lose. Well, for some reason, I thought if I just swing my arms in a hurricane motion, I was going to kill every zombie there, but it didn't work.
You just worked out your shoulder muscles.
I just got a great exercise, like Lindsay said. I really felt the burn.
So it was the original Wii for you.
It was the original Wii Fitness for me. Playing that game. I wish I knew what that game was. I forgot what it is now. It had creepy music too. It scared me.
Yeah, some of the music on those games still haunt me to this day. I still have nightmares about the game over. Don't ask me why, but like the game over scenes whenever they pop up, it's just freak the heck out of me.
What did you think about the controller itself? You know, sturdiness, button feels. I mean, did everything click right?
I love the controls, mainly because they're so simple. A, B, up, down, click, 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 click. These are just like Z, A, Y, B, control, dash, dash, trigger, click, 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 A, double A, double D, D, B, B, B. I can't keep up with that. Half the time I'm trying to figure out the damn moves, I've already died. And so it's just like, what's up with that? It's like, go into triple combat, hit double X, E, trigger, click, 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 click. I'm just like...
But actually, those are a lot more comfortable now. I mean, because I remember holding that little box and, like, you get cramped really easily, especially if like you were jumping or, like, shooting a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's muscle memory. It's like, nah.
I recently bought a USB Super Nintendo controller for my computer so I can play old games. And I don't know if it's just the build quality of the controller itself, because it's not built by Nintendo, but it's very plasticky, and after a while of holding it, it's just not comfortable because it really is just a hunk of plastic.
Yeah.
My mother would always get mad at me. She's like, that's why you have neck problems. And I'm like, I know.
Do hands cause you neck problems?
No.
I think some of the funniest memories I have is watching my mom play for the first time.
My mother wouldn't play. She's like, I don't see the sense in this. I was just like, I know.
Nobody in my family played video games.
Oh my god. This ice cream is so good.
This just in, Super Nintendo gives you ice cream. Buy now.
Is that why I never had any? Yeah, my dad always played Tetris, you know, get to high school all the time. But my mom, I mean, this is just my mom too, but of course the very first time, she just blast straight through Mario, like like nothing else. She's like, okay, that was great. Don't want to ever do it again. But we're just like, you know, it takes you days, or you know, it takes you a while to like figure out the game and try to beat it or whatever.
Yeah.
And she just went through it in like in one sitting. Where
What?
All
Bet
right.
she couldn't do it again.
Well, she never wanted to, but yeah.
She already proved herself. She doesn't have to do it again.
Exactly. Exactly.
I always felt like the king of the world when I was in my own little console. And I was like beating other people, and they were beating me, and I was like, why did you beat me? And then I'd had this crazy, I remember one time I played it so long that when I turned it off, I still heard the music in my head. So it was really cool because it was like a whole Scott Pilgrim versus the World thing, you know. It was just like, I heard the theme music and I was like, diddle, 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 diddle. I was like, oh, I got shivers. I was like, this is cool. Yes, it was pretty cool. Actually, I have never played Zelda.
I haven't either.
I've played Ocarina of Time for about 2 seconds, and that's not even the right system.
I just thought I'd admit that I have never played Zelda. I remember I had a lucky dance before I played my game. I'd pat my head and I'd spin around 5 times until I was really dizzy and fall on my bed. And that meant I was going to win. Most of the time I did. Most of the time I did win.
I remember as a punishment, one of our games got thrown away.
Aww.
But
What did you do to make them want to
it
throw your
was
game away?
me. My
That's
older-
what they all say.
One of my older sisters, I was like 5, I could barely do anything. But Mom had pity on us and took it back out and cleaned it off.
Well, that about wraps it up. I'd like to end this video with actually a couple facts. Did you know that Sega had released a second system that would attach to the Sega Genesis called the Sega CD? It was able to use CD-based games. It was revolutionary, but it didn't sell very well. But Nintendo thought that they could do the same thing with the Super Nintendo. So they contacted Sony to help them make a peripheral for their system. Sony got all the concept and designs and stuff, and they went on stage during E3 and announced they were going to make an add-on, a CD add-on to the Super Nintendo. Nintendo then, only a few hours later, got up on the stage and claimed that these were false, and that Nintendo instead contacted the company Philips, and they would make the CD add-on. Sony was furious and instead took these designs and created their own game system, the PlayStation, which released in 1995. Philips, on the other hand, was never able to get the CD-based add-on out for the Super Nintendo. So instead, Nintendo gave Philips the rights to use their game licenses on the Philips CDI. These games are notoriously known for being bad, for games such as Hotel Mario and a number of Zelda/Link games on the system. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys come back and see what my number 4 favorite video game console of all time is.